welcome back. Welcome back. Really interesting conversations, and these two gentlemen are gonna kill each other. Anyway, I'm enjoying it, and
I told you if I not going to come. If I stand away from me, and I know
I'm here. If I doesn't need to come, I'm here.
I know next week. Daniel is going to run away also. Daniel is not going to show up on this show again. I know.
So Paul, you are the MPP communicators destroyer.
Yes. Let's go.
All right, good. So guys, we all watch again. Many young men of our country lining up, running around, like you can see in the video here, looking for jobs. And this is so they can get employed into the immigration services. Anytime, any type of this employment opportunities arise, we witness thousands and thousands of people pour on the street, some with degrees, even master's degrees, still unemployed in our country. It seems this is one of the problems that we are not giving a lot of attention to. Of course, when COVID hit, we mobilized, we locked borders down, we closed down cities, have people fed for a couple of days. We took concrete actions to minimize the impact of COVID. But this long-standing problem seems to be something that we have not been able to deal with. So I stated in this topic today coming up for the discussion, I stated in the topic that is unemployment in our country worse than COVID in terms of the danger it poses to us? And let me pose that to Daniel first. Daniel, do you think we're dealing this thing with unemployment appropriately? What can be done? We are a country where about 10% of the population is 65 and above. Majority of the population is actually youth. And when you have that high level of unemployment in a country like ours, it's a security issue. It's a big problem that can ignite at any time. Are we dealing with this with the focus it deserves?
Yeah, Mr. Amuzi, thank you. Amuzi, did you just see the picture that I was watching? You saw that the immigration man had a gun, right?
Right.
So if this was MPP, NDC election related, the NDC will say that security man is an MPP person with a gun. So you see these are NDC people.
Correct.
Common employment. So people are coming to queue for a job. But you saw the immigration officer had a gun at that place. Why that? Can the security people explain why that security man needed a gun at the place where people were coming to look for a job? So I tell you that when you are analyzing security, analyze in the context of your environment. Don't just leave it at such and think that, this is Ghana for you. The security people have come and they're looking for a job. Do you know what will happen there, Amuzu? The security, because there are a lot of information that the security people know that we don't know. So Amuzu, I'm going back to the issue of the unemployment issue. Amuzu, it's a sad time sometimes, and I've watched these things over time. Amuzu, can you hear me? I can hear you. I have watched these things over time, and I feel very sad because I try to sometimes place myself in the shoes of these people.
Right.
If I were in Ghana, the thing that I've been able to do in this country since I came,
you can't do half.
I can't do even a quarter. Even a quarter, I won't be able to do it.
And that is so sad.
Yes, it is not because I don't have the potential, and there are many people out there, who are better than me, who are smarter than me, who have the energy, who have the drive, that have been denied opportunities that they might never be able to recover. Right. And before you realize they're in retirement age, and then they go.
They wasted their whole life.
They've wasted their whole life. So I've always said that the unemployment situation in our country, it undermines the potential of our country. I even believe that 15% of our GDP is wasted, if I want to quantify that. Because if I see the potential in this guy, just using myself, just as one example, I'm just one person who, there are so many other people who move from Ghana and are here that might not even be doing their maximum best. But then what they've been able to achieve just being here, doing even a casual job or something, will far outpace what somebody in Ghana who's probably a manager and have gone to school is even doing. That should tell you the extent of how we are wasting our resources away and we are undermining the development of our country. These things that we are doing, it has long-term implications for how your country needs to grow. If your country needs to grow at 2% or say 5%, 10%, because of these things, you are growing at say 2%. You are wasting 3%. I'm just using these numbers as an example. You are wasting 3% of your potential all the time because these kids, youth are not engaged. And you said you were trying to relate it to COVID. The reason why it's a risk, but think about COVID. COVID is a different kind of risk. It's a risk that is a pandemic, right? So it affects. It's what we call systemic risk. It affects everybody across the globe on the same level. But the unemployment situation in Ghana, it is not a pandemic risk that affects all countries the same way. Some countries have low unemployment rates, like in this country, right? In America, the unemployment rate is low. People are even deciding what jobs to leave, what jobs to pick. In our situation, the unemployment rate is endemic. It's an endemic risk. It is with us. We do not have opportunities for these folks. And even when we have opportunities for them, the level of comfort that those opportunities bring, it is not up there. It is not up to the standard. Most of these jobs that these people pick, you pick a job and the whole month you are paid 700 Ghana cedi. Think about it. What was 700 Ghana cedi if you work at that rate? 5 years of your lifetime, you are paid 700 Ghana cedi a month. What would that do to you and your family, assuming you don't have a...
That was the creation of your government, though.
Well, I'm coming. That is why I'm saying we have to be very candid about this conversation. But the question is, what is the alternative? If you don't do something the alternative that exists is worse. Assuming you didn't create even this 700 stipend for these people, and you just let them like that, that would be worse. That would even be like you are, what do you call it, putting oxygen in fire. You will just be exacerbating the problem. So the unemployment situation is a time bomb that will explode one day if we do not put concrete, concerted, and deliberate measures in place to deal with it. And NABCO and those things, they are not permanent solutions. It's just a temporary measure to manage a risk that, if nothing is done, could explode and lead to some other consequential, outcomes. Right. So when the government comes and says, I'm doing NABCO, he knows definitely that NABCO is not going to provide you a permanent job. And the government makes that clear upfront. That one of the issues with that, some of our people, the companies complain that our people don't have the skills. They don't have the experience. So we are solving that one-dimensional problem. It is not just that is not just the only issue. It is just one-dimensional problem. There are other dimensions that government effort has not looked at. One of the dimensional problems is that we are using this vehicle to provide skills development and that experience for people for which reason that has been used against them and they've not been able to get into the workforce. So when government talks about NABCO, this is the objective. You have to understand the objective as against what government is doing. And this provide that avenue. But the issue of providing permanent quality jobs for our people cannot be resolved with NABCO. That has to be another dimension of the problem. And that dimension is what government says that I am doing one district, one factory. One district, one factory will not employ all the people out there that are unemployed too. That will also employ up to a certain level. It will only dampen the unemployment situation. Outside that, we need to do something more.
What is that more that
I'm coming, right? That is what I'm saying. It is not a one jacket solution. You have to look at it from the different dimensions and tackle it from that different dimension. And collectively, as you do that, it will all come together on the aggregate level to reduce the impact. The other thing that we have to do is now try to let people realize that skills development is key. TEVET, what we call technical and vocational training institute. We've also realized that most of our people too don't all need to be in the public sector. Some people need to have technical skills. So because of that, government is empowering technical vocational education and trying to establish this institute to train people so that when people come out, they too themselves can have their own, way of establishing themselves and doing their own jobs. So it has to be a multifaceted approach, not just NABCO. NABCO alone will not solve the problem. Right. One district, one factory alone will not solve the problem. It will solve some aspect of the problem. And then technical vocational training education too has to be on board. Then the last thing is IT. IT development, letting people take interest in IT development, IT skills, because with IT skills these days, wherever you are, you can work from wherever you are if you have the skills. You know what I'm trying to say?
Right.
Paul De-Sosoo, if tomorrow Baumia fixed the digitization problem and Ghana works, he will move from the US and go and stay in Ghana and work from Ghana because the infrastructure is there. Fortunately for us, the two governments seems to have come to understand that we need IT infrastructure. Fortunately for Ghana, Mahama was the then in 1998 when I was in Mahama's hometown, Bole. Jerry John Rawlings made him deputy communication minister, right? And Mahama has been in that sector, so he understands the very essence of, the telecommunication sector. And to refer to the NDC, whenever the NDC have been in power, we have tried to do something with that sector to bring it up. And consistently, we've built upon the capacity of that sector. That is how come today we're able to do things like Momo. We're able to do things like transfer. So collectively, we need to build that sector up, because that sector has a lot of potentials to create jobs and to create opportunities within the economy. And so when Bawumia comes and says that, let's do digitization, you for De-Sosoo, you should not be against that, because if for anything at all, your flag bearer was involved in that sector and they've done some good job to begin with before even the MPP came on board to add on top of that. So you should be supporting that cause, because eventually that will create a lot of opportunities for people, and people can get jobs. And you for De-Sosoo, like the way you love Ghana and you love the NDC, you can be working for the NDC in Ghana, enhancing their capacity, whilst working for a company here in the United States. And we can make better use of your talent. That is where we need to all put our minds to and push our economy to, so that we can solve the endemic unemployment problem. Otherwise, if we don't consistently do these things across political parties and build this capacity, I tell you, for De-Sosoo, you can criticize the MPP all you want today. Tomorrow, when you're in government, that problem will come and you'll be faced with it. So you have to be and we have to encourage people when they are putting right policies in place and push them to do the right thing, so that tomorrow when you take over power, which I'm thinking might be 2050 when I'm going on retirement, then you can now come in, and by then would have put out the system in place. And if you come up and you mess up like Trump, the system will be there to sustain all of us. We will all go down. You see what I'm trying to say? That is the system.
Lifetime legacy says, for once an MPP man has been truthful in terms of saying John Mahama recognizes the value of
this
ICT.
is the truth. Why should I know the history of that communication, because I know I was in Bole when John Mahama was nominated as deputy commissioner, and I know what role when Omani Buama came. Even Eslo also had to take time to congratulate Omani Buama for some of the improvement that they have brought into that sector. Consistently, we have to build on that, because eventually the people that get employed in Ghana, some will be MPP, some will be NDC. They are Ghanaians.
Right.
That is how politicians we have to think. Not always coming out and condemning people, even when they are doing the right things. And we know that is why our future lies. It will help all of us. So for this, I implore you this evening to speak the truth and stop this propaganda.
Okay. On that note, let's go.
I've read all the submission that my friend Daniel made this afternoon. Okay.
Yep.
Apart from the one that he
before you jump in, Paul, let me recognize Dr. Ato coming out for joining the conversation.
Dr. Ato is come to. They've called for backup. Dr. Ato is coming to back him up, so I don't have a problem. I don't have a problem.
Welcome to the show, Dr. Ato. We'll be having fun with.
You see, Dr. Ato is coming to back him up because he's gasping for breath. So no problem. See, all the submission that my good brother Daniel made this afternoon, apart from the Mahama one that he acknowledged that Mahama has done a lot in the communication sector. All the rest of the submission he made this afternoon are Jubilee House fake propaganda. Jubilee House fake propaganda. And I repeat it again. You know what, Alfred? My mother told me when I was growing up that when your mother is dead, and we are telling that your mother is dead, and you come and shout, no, my mother is not dead. She's sleeping. That dead body, it will get to a time that it's going to get rotten. It's going to get rotten. It's going to get the scent that will be coming out. You have no option to admit that indeed your mother is dead.
Right.
That is the story of this super incompetent NPP. What is my brother Daniel alluding to? He has alluded to the fact that yes, they try to create NAPCO. Let him not make the mistake and try to create the impression as if NAPCO is something that is a new thing that has been made. Let it be on record that during the NDC time era, they created a youth employment, and people have gone through those models. Government upon government have created a sort of employment opportunity for the youth to engage in. But we all know for the fact that they are not enough. The video that trended the whole of this week, from the immigration, the fire service video, really tell us that Ghana is sitting on a timing bomb. If we don't take care and we don't manage this situation very well, when this thing explodes, no government, neither NDC or MPP when in power, can control this. That is why when you look at the visionary leader, the leader that has Ghana at heart, not like the leader that we have today that have the interest of renting private jet for $15,000 an hour and give a seat to his side chick. That money that he's using to rent that £15,000 an hour jet, that money can be used to invest into other sectors to create jobs for our brothers and sisters.
Can finish the E-block at Aflau.
And finish the E-block at Aflau. Thank you. I am saying this because, look, His Excellency John Dramani Mahama, who has Ghana at heart, when doing his thank you talk, has continually stated that unemployment issue is a big issue. And he has stated that he's not going to put the blame on this government. It has been a system thing that has existed for a long time. He came to meet it. This government has come to meet it. Let's set up a stakeholder meeting. Let's talk through it. Let's sit down and find ways and means that we can create permanent job to get our youth employed. This super incompetent and insensitive government led by Nana Addo, to which my good brother Daniel Nanaya Asare Aponsa is a member, and who has shown his insensitivity this afternoon on this show, made their mind that they are not ready to listen. Look, when it explodes, it's going to affect everybody.
Right.
That is why the time has come. As political parties, as civil societies, as all the stakeholders, we need to come together. It is very scary. As Daniel said, we are sitting on a timing bomb. If this is not managed well, it can explode and we cannot control it. I am using this your platform to appeal to the insensitive president whose joy and happiness is to rent private jets. And as we speak, it's on record that in just the last 9 months in 2019, 62 million Ghana cedi was spent on traveling, presidential traveling.
Right.
Which when you convert to the old currency is 620 billion old cedis. That is what when you tell my mother 63 million Ghana cedis, she doesn't understand. 630 billion old currency. He used it at his comfort, renting private jets, traveling left, right, north, south, east, and west with the pleasure of side chicks. And I'm very disappointed that my good brother Daniel will not have the opportunity even to sit in that jet, but he will come here to defend this super incompetent president. Those money, there are a lot of waste in the system. And if the waste in the system can be curbed, if the waste in the system can be stopped, the money that misappropriate at various ministry sectors, and look at the auditor report every year that comes out. Look at the amount of money that is going to waste. All those money, when we are serious as a country, we can get all those monies and create jobs for our lovely brothers and sisters who are looking for jobs.
Right.
That is why it is a disaster and it is disappointing and it is shameful. It is only a visionless leader who will fire somebody like Domelevo, the former auditor general. Because Domelevo was doing a good job. Domelevo was going after the inconsistency, the corruption in the system. And by the way, my brother Daniel knows, and he has admitted to me at a private discussion that their government is the most corrupt government ever in the history of Ghana. And it's a fact. And he knows. You understand? He knows. Dr. Dansu also knows that when we talk about corruption, this NPP government is the most corrupt government ever in the history of Ghana. Who knows? Look, we all believe that Nanado claim, I'm not corruptible, I'm incorruptible. But there are a lot of deals. All these deals, a Japan, a Mary deal, a PDS deal, mention them, PPA, mention them, national lotteries, all these dubious deals that was perpetrated in the nose, in front of the president. If the president has put his foot down to curb corruption,
right,
to fight against corruption, to ensure that all those money are safe, we could have used those money to create jobs for our brothers and sisters. And let me state, and let me be clear over here. I am not saying that he's the one who caused the unemployment. It is something that has happened along years. But I am saying that this government came into power and made three oil field. What have they used the money for? As we speak, we've borrowed over 213 billion Ghana cedi. What have they used the money for? I think my good brother, Prof. Dr. Ato and Daniel Nana Asare Aponsa should tell us how the money has been used for. All those money that they've borrowed that they cannot account for it. If we are being serious as a country, Alfred, we should be able to build businesses, create jobs. And I take this opportunity to appeal to this president who has made up his mind that means you be having fun, flying 15,000 pounds jet just to take a shower in the sky.
Right.
At his pleasure. If he can stop this unnecessary spending and those money channeled into creating jobs, I think
we can solve unemployment.
A long way to solve. It's not going to solve all the problem, but at least it can solve 10 or 5% of the danger or the timing bomb that we are sitting on.